Hey everyone, thanks so much for tuning in. So for today's video, I have some DIY gifts from Dollar Tree, and we're going to be elevating these dollar store items using the Cricut. Today's video is sponsored by Cricut. A big thank you to them. And for the first project, I'm starting off with these fabric bags. Now they already have a really pretty design up front, but I'm going to take advantage that the back is blank, and I am going to make something super cute and useful. So I'm going to take my 3 fabric bags. If you get the bigger size, then it only brings 2. In Design Space, I use these 3 designs, which I will list in the description, and I'm using my Cricut and Smart Iron-On, which I'm going to use shiny face down. Now, if this is the first time that you've ever seen a Cricut, it's basically a cutting machine that cuts through so many different types of materials: leather, vinyl, fabric, chipwood, you name it, it does it. And I'm using it now to make an iron-on pattern. So I'm using both green and red for this, but of course you can use whatever color you'd like. One really important thing to remember is that when you're using iron-on, not only are you supposed to do shiny face down, but you're also supposed to mirror your image, because the shiny part is actually protecting your sheet. So you're going to put it upside down when you iron. So here I am weeding it out. I really like doing iron-on projects because the weeding process is so darn easy. And I'm using my little mini press for this. If you have any kind of concern over what temperature you should be using, you can go on like the Cricut heat press guide, and it'll tell you, all you have to do is put in your materials, and it'll tell you how long you should be holding heat for and what the temperature is. So here I am doing this in layers, and it looks pretty amazing. Here's one of my bags finished, and I did do pine and mint as well. I'm trying to keep this all Christmassy, but you can do whatever scent you'd like. Now, at Dollar Tree, I picked this up. You can either use Unstoppables or you can use the many scents that they have. You will find these in the candle section of Dollar Tree, and they have a ton of different varieties. And you're also going to get some rice. Now, I did buy this rice from Dollar Tree. You're going to put some in a container and put whatever scent you choose. And of course, you don't have to use Dollar Tree. If you don't like these, then use whatever you want. Use the Young Living ones. Don't use any at all. I'm going to mix this up really well, and then I'm going to start spooning them into my bag. If you don't like the rice idea, then the Unstoppables are also sold at Dollar Tree. But even though they are sold there, I would just buy them in a larger pack. It is a lot cheaper. Once you're done, close this up and set it to the side. Now you can give this alone as a gift, or you can set it as a gift bag. So what I did was I grabbed one of the Dollar Tree wax melts, and if you don't like these, again, you can buy whatever wax melt you want. I'm taking off the label because the cute stuff about Christmas is basically all the Christmas packaging. It's regular products with the Christmas packaging. So I use my Cricut to cut out this little gingerbread. You can write the scent, but when I cut it out, I didn't know what scent I was going to use just yet. So I put that in the front, removed it, and then I made a little gift basket using this Dollar Tree box. I put the lid upside down so that the box is still usable, added some tissue paper for color, my 3 little bags, because I did include 3, a Dollar Tree candle, my little oil wax melt things, and these scents, and look how cute this is. One of the things that I'm most happy that came back to Dollar Tree is the bamboo cutting boards. They are so useful when it comes to crafting and gifting because these are the perfect size for a personalized little charcuterie board. This is the project that I'll be using in Design Space, and I will link it below. And I'm using Smart Stencil because I'm using the Cricut Maker 3, but there's also regular stencil as well. I like the Smart Stencil because it's just a slightly bit thicker, so I like working with it a little better since I'm a little rough around the edges. So I'm going to cut this down and put this on to my board. And to make this food safe, instead of putting vinyl on it or painting it, I'm going to use a SCORCH marker. I've had the SCORCH marker for so long that I was actually afraid that it wasn't going to work. because I thought it would have dried out. But apparently it did, thankfully. So here it is, and I just realized that it has both a regular marker tip and then one that's a brush. So I use the brush tip because I thought it would be a little bit more helpful, but be careful with this. Instead of doing what I'm doing here, make sure that it's not as wet and kind of dab it on, pounce it on like you would a beauty blender. That helps with it not seeping so much, although this is wood, so it is going to seep a little bit because that's just the nature of it. Once it is completely dry, I removed my stencil, and then I'm going to use a heat gun. I don't remember where this heat gun is from. I want to say it's Harbor Freights, but you can get a heat gun literally anywhere, and it's not expensive. It's probably under $20. Once you start to see it turn dark, stop, because then you're just going to burn the wood. But this is really, really, really cute and food safe. And not only is it good for the holidays, but also for personal events. I love it so much. I love that Dollar Tree now has these boxes because I love to customize them. And one of my favorite things to do is make little kits. So I'm just going to cover a piece of cardboard with tissue paper just to give it a nice base and keep it open. And then I'm going to start assembling a Dollar Tree gift set. So I used these rings from Dollar Tree, as well as these bamboo ones, which I found in the Crafters Square section. Now the key to make this look like a really nice kit is to take it out of the package. So these rings I also found in the Crafters Square section of Dollar Tree, as well as these wooden dowels, and I'm going to attach all of this using double-sided tape to keep it in place. So this is what makes those Christmas kits look legit. They're out of the package and they're all nicely positioned into one cute little box, and that's what I was trying to mimic. So these are the wood rings, and if you can't already tell, I'm trying to create a macrame kit. Now everything I'm doing here is personal preference. If you want to leave it in the pack, you totally can. You can even make custom labels for it. Dollar Tree already has DIY macrame kits, but they're really small, so I figured this way I can include those into this. So I left one in the pack, and then I took the other two out of the pack and kind of added it to the side. I also found macrame cotton twine or cord on there, so I'm going to add that using twine, and I did leave the label on that. And I put the others in the empty spot. There's so many other things like beads and other little trinkets that you can add in this, but this is how I wanted to keep it. So I put these in here and boom. Oh, it's not over. So I took the top part of the box and I used the pen feature on the Cricut. So basically you take a Cricut pen and you put it in there and it draws your design. So I wrote on there Aria's macrame kit to make it very personal, and I think that this elevates it so much more. I just really, really love how this turned out, and this was actually done pretty quickly. So I will link the design that I used, but if you do have any other gift boxes that you want to put together, this is like a good idea without having to print anything. Every winter, Dollar Tree puts out their Swiss Miss milk chocolate, and they have marshmallow and sometimes even peppermint, and they have these cute little jars. And hear me out, most of those little hot chocolate kits that you see at TJ Maxx and Marshall's are literally just repackaged hot chocolate. So that's exactly what we're gonna do. We're gonna take off the label, wash this out, and then put our chocolate in here. If you're gifting this, of course, wear gloves. These are just for me. By the way, these are in the seasonal section and they do come in different colors. Now I am going to take the ones with the little candy canes up top and add some Dollar Tree peppermint candy things. If you feel more comfortable using glass jars, Dollar Tree does sell those as well. Now this is what I am going to put on there. This is the same exact design that I used for the little wax melt, but I did write peppermint on the bottom, and I will leave the font name below. I'm doing classic peppermint and marshmallow, which are my different types of hot chocolate. Now that in itself can be a gift. I'm adding one of these little Dollar Tree ornament things, and I'm just going to go ahead and paint it and make a custom ornament. So I'm just doing white at the top, red at the bottom, and y'all really loved my giant enamel mug. So that is exactly what I'm going to be doing here. I'm going to be making an ornament version of that enamel mug. Now the trick to making this look like enamel is of course splattering this with white or whatever color you'd like. So I am putting water and white paint and mixing it up with a hard bristle brush, but you want to make sure that your paint underneath is really dry so that it doesn't try to blend through, because if it's wet, sometimes it'll just kind of start to melt through. I'm using my heat gun to speed up this process, and then I'm going to put a little logo on there. Now this design is in Design Space and I will link it below, but once I put it on, all I'm going to do is add some baker's twine to the top, and boom. In the food section of Dollar Tree, they have a ton of baking stuff. And of course, I already mentioned that most of the stuff that you buy during the holiday seasons is literally pre-packaged food. So this is the design that I'll be using, and I will link it below. So I'm using that pretty pink paper. And then, since this is a print and cut project, I'm printing out the rest of the design, and Cricut is going to cut around those black lines. I'm using a thicker paper for this because I kind of wanted this to look like a bookmark. But once I take this out, I do wait for the ink to fully dry, because as you can tell, this is kind of like a photo paper, flyer paper type thing. And now it's time to assemble, so I did fold that in half, and I put that right over. You can use another bag if you want, but I kept it in the OG bag. By the way, that file is editable, so you can put the instructions that are directly on the Pillsbury box or Duncan Hines, whatever it was. And now I'm just going to glue that on there. This can be given all on its own, but we're going to go the extra mile. I'm going to use this SVG onto one of the Dollar Tree bowls. I'm going to remove the front, and thankfully these labels come off pretty clean. I'm going to put this on, and that elevates it completely. I feel like a lot of times with vinyl projects, the fonts and designs you use can make or break a project. Now, in the kitchen section of Dollar Tree, there's a ton of baking stuff, and if you go into the seasonal section, there's going to be even more goodies. And once you put that together, boom. So that's it for me. I really hope that you enjoyed today's video. Let me know in the comments which one is your favorite. A big thank you to Cricut for sponsoring today's video. And as usual, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you so much, and I'll hopefully see you on the next one.